Good morning, buenos dias, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Lopez. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Partnerships here at HACE. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning for our Cafecito session. We have a great session for you today. But before we get started, if you are joining us for the first time, we conduct these cafecitos week in and week out to be able to connect with our comunidad together, to be able to network, but most importantly, to know what's going out there within our community. HACE is a nonprofit organization focusing on cultivating and creating a pipeline of diverse and Latino talent for companies and corporations, as well as excelling talent and connecting individuals looking to grow within their careers. We like to say where we help individuals from the classroom to the boardroom. So be sure, if you are not a member of HACE, to go to our website and become a member today, as well as go to that merch section. We do have some great merchandise where you'll be able to support the organization during this Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, a couple quick announcements before we get started. First things first, today, everyone say today in the chat. Say today. All right. Today is our Latinas in the Workplace Recruitment Series. That's right. Today we will be featuring 4 amazing Latinas and 4 amazing organizations that are looking to advance talent and Latina talent in general within the organizations, and then also share testimonials of the success that they've had within their companies. We'll also have a networking event, Leaders in Cybersecurity. That event is also coming up as well. So be sure to go to our events tab on our website to be able to get more information on that. And for our partners that are joining us, on October 8th, we will be having our second quarter partnership review. So be sure to also get that information and join us on October 6th. Well, the time is here. Everyone's wondering, who is this gentleman right next to me? This is Carlos Garcia. Carlos is the Vice President of Finance Restaurant Division at Barilla. Carlos, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Manny. I appreciate it. I think I'm always excited to get invited to these different things, Cafecito. It's awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, you know, you're not new to the Cafecito. So how do you like your Cafecito or beverage of choice in the morning?
I'm a cold beverage guy. So I'm from LA, so I like it. Give me a nice brew, cold brew. Just the coffee black itself gets me going in the morning.
Black. I see. I do cold brew with 2 pumps of sugar-free vanilla. That's my go-to every morning. But today I'm going a little warm on the coffee. Now that being said, can you tell me a little bit? Can you tell us in general, right? Just a little bit more of your cultural background, your professional background, ethnicity, heritage, race, how you identify. Just share with our community as far as who is Carlos.
Yeah, thank you, Manny. I'm just a lot of different people. So I identify as Mexican American. Both my parents are from Mexico, Oaxaca and Michoacan. I lean more on the Oaxaca side as I go back and visit my family very often, but I do identify myself as Mexican American. In terms of professional career, I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm an accountant now, but I always knew I wanted to be an accountant. So when I was going through school, math was always a good subject for me to kind of go through. So as I kept on going through school, college, university, it was something that just kind of attracted me towards that profession. Along the line, you kind of start kind of building up through corporate America. You kind of go through different positions, seeing what companies you like to work, what companies you don't want to work for, in terms of small, middle, large. I think I hit the jackpot, man. I think I'm working for Barilla, which is kind of my forever company. It allows me to be my true self. It kind of also plays to all my strengths in terms of just what I like to do in terms of from a professional standpoint in accounting. Run different divisions or opportunities for the company. So from that perspective, from a professional perspective, I think it's getting close to being my forever company for sure.
And Barilla is my forever pasta. I'm the most amazing cook. When I got a box of Barilla, I know how to boil that water. Well, that's great to hear. So thank you again for sharing that with us today. Now let's get started, Carlos. First of all, congratulations on being recognized by Diversity MBA Media annual list of top 100 under 50 executives and emerging leaders in corporate America. How do you feel about receiving this award?
At first when I received it, I was shocked. I was super appreciative, obviously, with the work I'm working with Asa and your team, everybody and the team. Uh, but the next feeling was like, okay, you got here. What's the next step? I think as you kind of go through your journey of success and what I'm trying to vision, it's now you're adding more. What else can I do? How can I push myself? This is a nice recognition. It's not where I want to be, but if I stay here in this moment right now, which I am in present, I'm proud of it. I'm appreciative of it. I'm humbled because I think it's an award that is a team. It takes my family, it takes all my friends, my partners, my professional partners to get me to this point because they helped me along the way. It's definitely not me by myself. It's my mentors, my sponsors that helped me all along the way getting to this point. So, as I'm getting this reward acquisition, I would like to thank especially you guys at Austin, man, because you guys do an amazing job of helping promote what I'm trying to do, essentially amplify all the good things that we're trying to do from a company professional standpoint. And then you guys are helping me from more of my volunteer, kind of more giving back. That kind of how can I stretch myself in that way? So to answer the question, I feel very proud, very humbled, but it's just one step. I have more things to go and to eye. So I appreciate the award for sure and the recognition.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your kind words. And Carlos is joining us live, actually, from receiving that award today at the Diversity MBA event. Now that being said, as Carlos you mentioned, you do work with us a little bit as our chair of our National Leadership Council. What initiatives is your team working on, and how can members get involved with the asset community?
Yeah, I think the big thing we're trying to do right now from an auxiliary standpoint is engage our alumni. I think one of the things when I'm a alumni of the program, of the multicultural leadership program, I didn't know what to do with that energy once I graduated from the program. And so I know I was lucky enough to work with people like yourself that say, hey, what about we start these auxiliary or join the auxiliary program? So in terms of what we're trying to do from a board is trying to engage our alumni, do a lot of events and try to build up our auxiliary boards. We have one in New York, we have one in Chicago, DC, Washington, DC, and then our National Leadership Council, which is made up of people from different parts of the country, which is great. I think it fits this role if you want to be virtual and just don't really kind of are in one of these cities. We're also trying to build up our one in Miami, which are there as well. So we have all these different things. So I think the initiatives we're trying to do is strengthen our auxiliary boards. Second is increase our alumni participation, and then for us to give back to the community in terms of ASE, support the ASE organization any way that we can. I think we're trying to obviously recruit, sponsorship, everything that we're trying to do, but just bring this brand awareness. This is a cool organization. Manny, I don't know if you know, but this is the first organization that I've joined outside of me doing anything. I think it really just kind of got me learning what I really want to do outside of my career. Like this is giving back to my community, the people that I work for. Then I think I struck gold because all of you guys that I'm working with, all the people I'm working there have been super grateful along the journey, have helped me just kind of help me amplify the voice in the correct way that I wanted to do it. So again, to answer the question, engaging in alumni, helping support ASE as an organization, and selflessly for myself, trying to grow as a better person to try to give back to my community, whether it's in Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, it doesn't really matter, but I think it's all over the place.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, one quick question for those individuals that say, I don't have enough time, or I haven't gone through the program. What would you say to those individuals that might have a little, inkling of wanting to participate in one of these auxiliary boards?
If you have an inkling, then that's okay. That's all I need because you have a passion. It's already sparked, so we can help build it. Cultivate that passion. If you're not an alumni, it's okay. We will kind of get you involved in different things, and along the way, there's programs that we can kind of filter you in along the way as you're kind of joining. And the other question is, I don't have any time. If this is something you want to do in intentional, you're going to make some time. Obviously, we have our professional life, our personal life. This is something that is a pet, a passion of ours that we want to keep on cultivating. So if you give me that inkling, that little inch, I will show you how to help, and we make it intuitive for people. So if you have a little bit of time, maybe it's during the weekday, the weekend, whatever that is, the National Leadership Council with my leadership will help. We're very kind of, I'm a hospitality background. So Manny, so if you tell me you have, an hour on Sunday or Saturday, I'll make it work for you. We'll make something work. We'll set up a schedule to make sure that, because I want to make sure that you understand where you're going to be involved in. Maybe if it's an hour a week, we'll get you involved. We'll get you on a different plan. But as soon as you have more time, then we'll get you more of a role, an executive leader board or a member at large role, something or a committee role that is more conducive to your time. So what I like to say is we'll make it work. Any type of level of involvement that you want to get into, we'll make it work for you.
And what are some of those roles that individuals can participate in?
Yeah, I think from a National Leadership Council, we have we have our chair, we have our treasurer, we have our secretary, and we're building different committee sponsors. So we have leads for different programs that we're doing at HACE. So if you're doing El Futuro lead, we're doing Emerging Latino lead. So we have people that are kind of these go-betweens between the organization, HACE, and then our auxiliary boards. If you don't want to do that, maybe you want to focus more on planning events. That's your function. Yeah, we have an event planning kind of committee lead. If you want to go in and engage alumni because you feel like you have that more of a rapport, let's do that. If you feel like you have a good company, you want to bring in your company to do different events, we'll have a role for you. There's obviously these certain roles that we want to fill within our organization auxiliary board, but along the way, we want to make something that works for you. But yeah, we're going to maintain a structure. So to answer your question again, Manny, really it's the chair, the secretary, the treasurer, different committee roles within the auxiliary boards.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And again, congratulations, Carlos, on this great recognition for you. That being said, we have any questions from our virtual audience today for Carlos?
I thought for sure, man, you would ask me if I'm more of a Chicago pizza guy or New York.
I was actually about to ask. I know we before the call we were talking about some of the activities that you're doing when you're in town.
Yeah.
But yes, are you a pub style or are you a deep dish type of guy?
I'm more of a pub style. I like a thinner crust pizza, but I do indulge on some deep dish on occasion. It does take a lot of time, so I'm trying to learn the culture here. So you have to order ahead of time a little bit, at least maybe an hour ahead, and then it's ready for you to go. So I'm kind of getting into the groove of things, but I like both. But I do like a good Chicago dog. I think they're the best. No ketchup on my hot dog, so I'm good with that.
Well, you're speaking my language, my friend. You're speaking my language. Actually, I have a question. Leslie wants to know what are some of the requirements to join any of the boards.
We would definitely love it if you're an alumni. I think it helps amplify what we do. Is that a requirement? No. We want to make sure you have, a passion. Obviously, you have time. Because this does take commitment. I think, as I was talking about making it work for different people, if you're going to come into a board or go into this, you're making a commitment. So you want to make sure you have the time, you have something carved out so we can kind of meet on occasion, because we meet on a monthly basis, sometimes weekly, as we're organizing different events, leading up to different events. And then we're also networking. I think that's a big piece. That's why we're part of this organization, because you're meeting Manny, you're meeting the CEO, Batista, you're meeting Yasmin, and then they're introducing to other people, which lead to other people. So to answer your question, I think you just have to have a passion, a commitment, just kind of this open mind to say, hey, I want to be part of this cool program, this cool organization that does a lot of cool things. So I think obviously I would love to be part of a program, but if you're not, that's okay. We'll kind of make it work as I explained earlier. We'll kind of go through that process.
So see, everyone is open to participate as long as you have a passion and as long as you want to help the community. Carlos saying he's welcoming you with open arms to be a part of it. Now, before we go, what are you hopeful for, or a positive story that gives you hope for this year?
Positive story. There's a lot of things going on, obviously through the economy. I don't know. I live in Los Angeles, and the big thing for us right now is the homeless community. It's a big thing that affects us across the board, and not only military but Latinos. You see like families like Latinos that live in these apartments and they're kind of getting evicted and so forth. So for me, I really want for us to have a little bit more grace with our people, more understanding as we see people that are out there. We want to make sure that we don't understand everybody's lives, everybody's roles, right? Where some people are a little bit more fortunate than others, but I think as people, I would love us to be to offer a little more grace to everybody that we see, whether it's down the street, saying hello. So I think it starts with us, right? Having a smile, positive attitude as we're talking to anybody. It doesn't matter who you're talking to, and just give that positive vibe out there. And once that generates it, it's infectious to the next person, right? So I think as we try kind of this world, sometimes we're very cynical. I think it's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful place that we're in. And if we strive to be a little bit better people that way, I know it's kind of corny, Manny. I know it is, but I'm still, I feel like, there's a lot of good in our people. And if we do that, that builds that kind of momentum to help across the board of all the other bad things that are kind of going on in the world for sure.
Well, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Speaking of the people, I have one more question from Emma. For our Heritage Month, what excites you about our heritage?
We get celebrated, right? So Manny, I think we're talking about before this call is that I know when I was growing up, I wasn't as open as with my heritage of being Mexican American, being from Oaxaca, even from Mexico. Even when I was saying I was being from Oaxaca, I was ashamed that I would say more of Michoacan because I felt like Oaxaca was more, put down within our culture. So as you talk about celebrated this month, I think it gets celebrated overall. So I'm able to kind of articulate how proud of I am. I go back to Oaxaca every year, Manny, and I still have my grandparents. So I see it was my grandma, my grandfather. We go back to the river. We eat tamales that are made with the banana leaves and so forth that goes with it. And so these things that normally, traditionally you think of tacos and all these other things, but I'm more of on the coast, so I eat a lot of more fish. I eat more of tamales, these other things, plantains, things that are more of the Caribbean style. So, to answer your question, Emma, I love it because everybody gets to amplify their culture of where they came from, and so I get to talk to Manny where he's from, and we can talk shop about different stories. So I think it builds the community back together. It amplifies where we came from, and I was telling you, Manny, if we don't know where we came from, then we don't know where we're going. So it brings this kind of smile to my face. So I appreciate it.
That is very, very true. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Carlos, thank you so much. Again, if you have any questions on how to connect with Carlos, right? His LinkedIn is actually in the in the chat as well as he mentioned, our great leadership programs that we're offering from our executive leadership programs to our Mujeres de HACE to, we have our Hombres de HACE. We have so many programs out there right now that we're launching. Avanza, right? So just be sure to stay connected. Be sure to always check in on our website. And again, thank you very much for joining us today. Adios.